Is the CDC preparing for a zombie attack? Today's episode gives whole new meaning to the name Brain Food Daily. These days, zombies are all the rage. They've infested popular TV shows like The Walking Dead and movies like 28 Days Later. A recent estimate credited the zombie genre with over $5 billion of the US economy. It's pretty crazy. But what's really interesting is that they're now also being used as a tool by places like the CDC to help prepare first responders and everyday people for real-life viral outbreaks. And I think that makes a lot of sense because learning about disaster relief can be a little stale sometimes. And in order to incite people to action, you have to use pop culture to draw them in. Here to talk to us about this unique approach to viral vectoring is Professor Brian Maguire from CQ University in Australia. Brian, welcome.
David, it's a pleasure to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about vector control. What is it and why exactly is it so important?
Well, from a public health perspective, we're always looking at ways to prevent things. So with mosquitoes, for example, they're estimated to transmit disease to more than 700 million people a year, resulting in millions of deaths. So examples of ways that we can prevent mosquito-borne illness are good ways of us thinking about how vector control works. So we have habitat control, where we eliminate stagnant water to prevent mosquito breeding. Then there's reducing contact by what seems simple to us today is installing screens on windows. Then we have chemical controls. On a personal level, we use them such as repellents, but we also have insecticides. The final vector is biological control, and an example of that is fish that are introduced into a system to eat mosquito larvae.
So in what way does the zombie genre sort of lend itself to understanding vector control?
I think it's a great way of introducing the concepts to people of lots of different age groups. So the thought of trying to get a bunch of teenagers, for example, to sit around, talk about mosquito control or pandemic control might be difficult. But to have them sit around talking about what kinds of things can we do for a zombie attack, it could be a lot of fun.
So what can we do as a society to help prevent vector outbreaks in relation to zombies?
There's lots of things that we can do on an individual basis to help deal with the outbreak. So first, if you're going to be able to outrun the zombies, you need to stay healthy. And it turns out diet and exercise can help us with lots of other types of diseases and disasters to better prepare us for dealing with them. If you're trapped at home by the zombies, you need extra food, water, and medications in the house. So keep at least enough for a few days. And don't forget your pets because they need food, water, and medications as well.
Otherwise, they become food.
Right, right. So things that help us think about, prepare for, is what kind of things we can do as a family and have some plans for how we're going to get out of town, where we're going to meet, and how we're going to get together again.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go when the zombies come?
It depends on which way they're coming from, I guess. Is if they're coming from one direction, go in the other direction.
There you go. Thanks so much, Brian. I really appreciate it.
David, it was a great pleasure to be here, and it was a pleasure to talk with you.
You know, even though zombie infestations are a fun way to approach the situation, it's important to remember that vector-borne illness is no trivial matter. Currently, about 3.3 billion people, that's close to half the world's population, are at risk for malaria, and in 2010 alone, over 660,000 people were killed because of it. In this case, the vectors are mosquitoes, not zombies, but hey, mosquitoes don't have their own hit TV shows. Vector control is important, even in situations when a disease might be curable. The high cost of treatment makes vector control the only realistic option in a lot of developing countries. If you'd like to take action on this important issue, go to TakePart.com/contagion, where you'll find all kinds of useful tools and information. For BFD, I'm David Park, and don't forget to subscribe.